Good evening, everyone. Good evening. And welcome to the Winslow Township Board of Education's regular board meeting. Today is Wednesday, August 26, 2020. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a notice dated January 3rd, 2020. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in the administration office, the municipal building, the library, the Bud Dubel Center, the Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township post offices. And this is our mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of the community. The district, in partnership with the community and in the climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages our students to strive for personal excellence, and assists them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake,
Mr. Blake will be absent this evening.
Ms. Dredden,
Here.
Ms. Martin,
Present.
Ms. McClendon,
Present.
Ms. Mitchell,
Present.
Mr. Shaw,
Present.
Ms. Thomas, present, Ms. Peterson,
Present.
Ms. Pitts.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Chico. Can we now all jointly say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice
for all. Thank you, everyone. Ms. McClendon, would you please read our 2020-2021 district goals?
Yes, Madam President. 2020 through 2021 district goals. 1, student achievement. Continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students, utilizing all available and appropriate instructional modes. This shall include A, ensuring articulation at all grade levels throughout the district. B, focus on classroom instruction at all grade levels. C, ensuring all students have equal access to equipment and resources needed to facilitate and promote student learning in any setting. D, evaluation and updating all district programs. E, accountability of all district staff. Number 2, continue to foster a positive school environment that is conducive to teaching and learning. A, focus on building relationships among staff that will result in increased learning and more effective instruction. B, promote creative instruction, training, and retraining. C, emphasis on collaboration with all district stakeholders. D, promote cultural competence throughout district. E, teacher to student relationships. F, student to student relationships. Number 3, market our strengths and achievements to all stakeholders to increase capacity for greater parent, caregiver, community support. It includes A, continue with our public relations / marketing plan. B, continue to work with the various advisory committees in the district. And C, examine communication methods utilized by the district.
Thank you, Ms. McClendon.
Thank you, Madam President.
Moving now, board members, awards and presentations. Dr. Poteet, anything at this time?
Madam President, there are no awards and presentations this evening.
Thank you. Moving now to correspondence. Ms. Chico, would there be any correspondence at this time?
None this evening, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. At this time, board, I'm asking for a motion to approve the revised Minutes from our meeting, our special meeting that was held on August 5th, 2020, open session. Is there a
Motion?
motion? Is there a motion?
Yes, motion by Thomas.
Is there a second?
Second, Ms. Martin.
Moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Ms. Thomas,
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Moving now, board members, to our committee reports. Would there be a report out of our education committee?
Yes, Madam President. The Education Committee was called to order at 3:30 on Monday, August the 24th. In attendance, committee members Rita Martin, Lavanya Mitchell, and Julie Peterson. Administrative liaison, Dr. Dorothy Buckabo. Items discussed: A, Genesis parent portal numbers update from June to August 2020. Active 3,330. Enrollment as of Monday, 4,528 students. C, Chromebooklets, 1,617 requests have been submitted to the district for Chromebooks. Every child while in school would have access to their Chromebook along with taking them home since we're remote. 2, unreturned Chromebooks as of the end of the 2019-20 year. There are several that are outstanding. There is a procedure that the administration has in place to attempt to retrieve the unreturned Chromebooks. Request for Chromebook connectivity, cost of device, and monthly fees associated with the hotspot. A, review requests received from each. B, instruction for connecting. These are the materials that are going in the packet. Instruction for connecting. C, multiple children within one family. Each student may receive a Chromebook, but there will only be one hotspot for that family. Connectivity, 1 per household. Staff, technical distribution, teachers that have requested a Chromebook, which is a limited number, will receive one. And that's for instruction. Technology training, as you're aware, the first 4 days will be in-house staff training, and that's training of all staff and related service providers. Basic training overview, principals, outreach, and website. This is for the families and the ones that will be responsible at home for their instruction. So they will have video resource, and the principals will do the outreach to the family and post videos on the website when appropriate. Student orientation. Each school will have their own virtual student orientation. Student teacher engagement. Recording of attendance will occur daily. Social emotional wellness is the responsibility of the counselors, nurse, youth-based services, and physician when appropriate. Counselors will have a small group that they will be meeting weekly. Delivery of services for special education. A, certified special education teacher. B, related services will be rendered by the related service provider via teletherapy. Meeting was adjourned at 4:43 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Board members, would there be any questions or comments with regards to the report out of our Education Committee?
Yes, Ms.
Okay.
Peters, I have a question.
Yes, Ms. McClendon.
Yes, Ms. Peterson, with the orientation, I like that you said that each school will have its own virtual orientation. Do we have any tentative dates for those yet with the virtual orientations?
Mrs. McClendon, I'll be addressing that this evening.
Okay. And secondly, I have another question. So I know you mentioned training for the teachers for technology. Will there be some type of, I guess, training for any students that may need to know how to operate the technology?
Yes, and that's where their parents and anyone that's going to be responsible for their instruction, that assist with instruction at home, and the students. There will be videos uploaded to the website of each school, and also they will be able to go over that. They're sending with the packet that they've given students with the Chromebooklets, will show them how to get on the Chromebook, and then they'll be given information there.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Peterson.
You're welcome.
Board members, any other questions or comments? Thank you. Very comprehensive report, Ms. Peterson. Thank you very much. Would there be a report at this time out of our Operations Committee?
Not at this time, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Dredden. The Policy Committee, there will be no report out of the Policy Committee. And to the members, you will be hearing from me with regards to our next Policy Committee scheduled meeting. Would there be a report out of our Marketing Committee?
Yes, Madam President. Let me get that. The Marketing Committee met last night at 7 p.m. In attendance were myself, Dr. Poteet, and Ms. Thomas. We discussed the communications that will be coming out to parents. Dr. Poteet said he'd be discussing things tonight at the board meeting. As we move closer to the first day of school, more communication will be coming out from the building principals. We discussed some of the district's learning management platform, which would be Google Meet and Classroom primarily. Because I brought up last night how Google was having issues lately, so that's why we brought that up. And we discussed remote learning because of parents across social media were having discussions about what the district was going to do as far as remote learning with the synchronous and asynchronous options. So Dr. Poteet said he would be discussing that tonight. We ended our meeting around 7:30 last night, and that's the Marketing Committee report for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Thank you very much. Board members, any questions or comments with regards to our Marketing Committee report?
Yes, I have a question for Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, you mentioned that Google, there's been some problems with Google. Are they major problems that's going to affect our students from utilizing it for their?
As far as I know, they've got them all fixed, but I think we should be all right before the first day of school. Because I've been trying to track that as well.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. No further questions? Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, certainly because you're in the unique position that you chair two committees, would there be a report out of the Athletic Committee?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The Athletic Committee met last night as well at 5:30. Myself and Mr. Whitaker, the athletic director, met minus Mr. Blake. And we discussed the primary reason was the new update that came out from the NJSIAA. that came out Friday at 5 o'clock in the morning on Twitter, which they posted there first, which primarily had to do with volleyball, girls volleyball, and gymnastics, which Winslow does not have gymnastics. So our focus was mainly on volleyball. Volleyball has been postponed to start in February 4th.
Oh,
So there will be no volleyball in the fall.
oh, okay.
So we did have 15 participants sign up for volleyball. So my recommendation for Mr. Whitaker's is those students that wanted to play volleyball, please come out for another fall sport. My recommendation would be field hockey because our numbers are low for field hockey. But to move on from volleyball, phase 2 and 3 will be complete by Friday. And then we start our dark period where nothing can happen as far as practices or anything until September 14th. This past a few weeks ago, fall physicals were extended until the middle of October, I believe, by the state legislative bill. Buses will be provided for fall athletes for the high school and middle school. Middle school sports signups on Family ID begin September 1st. Middle school practices will begin on September 14th, contingent that we have a league to play in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and Mr. Whitaker did provide me the number of athletes we have per sport. So to go through that rather quickly, football, we have 58 students, boys soccer, 19 students, girls soccer, 17 students, girls tennis, 10 students, girls cross country, 16, boys cross country, 13, cheerleading, 9, field hockey. This is why I recommended that if you wanted to play volleyball, please sign up for field hockey. We only have 7. And marching band 30. And remember that marching band will be a part of the NJSIAA guide rules and regulations this year. Also, one more note that travel restrictions may be applied to the fall this year, and they're still waiting on what the recommendations from each conference and league are for heading into the seasons, which begin October 1st and 2nd. So, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Good job, both with your marketing and your athletics report. Thank you. Moving
Thank
now,
you.
board members, returning to our agenda.
Question, Madam President.
Mrs. Pitts.
I'm sorry,
Question, Madam President, from
Ms.
Mr. Shaw.
McClendon?
Mr. Shaw, for new students or new athletes that want to sign up for the programs, can you explain the process? Because I know there was something a little different this time. Can you explain the process of what they need to do to sign up with the different forms?
As far as what
Like the
would be
family
the,
like the registration with the family ID.
you know what, I've never been on the family ID, so this is new to me.
Right. It's so, and that's the same thing I was saying, because my daughter plays sports, but it just so happened that there's family ID that's on the, especially on the high school website, that's form for registration that needs to be filled out to register. And also on that form, you're able to upload your physical so that it goes directly to our athletic department so that you can get clearance. And I'm not sure if that's something new to the district that we just implemented, but for new students signing up now for activities, especially since you mentioned field hockey, a lot of parents or students may not know what the process is to get started with the registration.
Right.
Mr. Shaw, Mrs. McClendon, if there are any questions from the parents, all they have to do is call the high school, speak to the athletic director, Mr. Whitaker, and or the high school principal, and they will direct you or walk you through the process. So the building principals and the administrators are available at the schools. So if there's any questions or concerns, just call the school and they will assist you.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you,
Mr.
Dr.
Shaw.
Potteet.
Dr. Potteet, thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Petit.
Board members, any further questions, comments with regards to our athletic report? Okay, hearing none, thank you. Moving now, board members, at this time, we would normally go into public comment. However, as I had indicated, I'm going to ask for a brief change at this time. So, board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to change the order of the day. In so doing, I'm asking that we move the public comment portion of our agenda to after the informational items, which appear at the bottom of page 14. This, as you probably have guessed, would allow for the public to have more time to call in and ask their questions. So I'm asking for a motion to approve changing the order of the day.
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Martin.
Thank you. Moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. Any further questions about changing the order of the day? Thank you. Could I get a roll call on that, please?
Yes, Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. Clinton, Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Therefore, board members, let's move to page 3, where I'm asking for a motion to approve superintendent's report that begins at the top of page 3 and continues through to the bottom of page 4. Is there a motion?
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Martin.
Been moved by Ms. Thomas and second by Ms. Martin. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve the Business Administrator Board Secretary's report that begins at the bottom of page 4 and continues through to the bottom of page 9. Is there a motion?
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Ms. Martin.
It's been moved by Ms. Thomas and second by Ms. Martin. Would there be further comments or questions? Thank you, board. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes.
Ms. Martin, Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Moving now, board members, the bottom of page 9. We're on the personnel report, but I'm going to stop at this point. I'm going to ask Dr. Potteet. Dr. Potteet would like to make a statement before we go through and approve the personnel report. Dr. Potteet?
Yes, Madam President, members of the board and the community, I would like to address the activity advisors on page 12 and 13, middle school and high school recommendations. I want you to know that I had an opportunity to speak to the building principals today, and we do not have a problem asking the board to approve these clubs and advisors. However, I am asking the board to approve them with the following stipulations. 1, the advisors must present to the principal an overview of their club or activity spelling out in detail how they plan to implement their programs virtually. 2, a list of meeting dates, times, and a copy of their agenda must be given to the principal before each meeting with login information. This is going to be required because it will give the building administrator an opportunity to join in the meeting at his or her discretion. 3, the advisor must provide a list of the students who are members of the club or activity and a list of students who participate in each meeting within 2 days. Since we are providing these clubs and programs, we must make sure that there is a level of accountability to ensure to parents that these activities are in fact taking place. I will provide a periodic update to the board, sharing with you our progress as we move forward. So the building principals and I, at this time, Madam President, members of the board, have no problem, and I'm asking you to approve those activities, clubs, and advisors this evening with those stipulations if the board approves.
Thank you, Dr. Potteet. Board members, you've heard Dr. Potteet's stipulations. Before I go further and move on this personnel report, would there be any questions, comments with regards to
Madam President,
Mr.
Madam-
Shaw?
are we taking the word rescind out of this?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms.
Madam
Peterson?
President,
Yes.
I guess I'm elated that we're going to be implementing the cultural the clubs and activities, because that really goes a long way to make certain that our students are thriving, especially social emotional well-being. So thank you.
Peterson's comment, the social emotional learning aspect of this is going to be tremendous for our students.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Any other comments, board members?
Yes, Madam President,
Ms. McClendon?
everything what Ms. Peterson and Mr. Shaw said, and I definitely think that the request for requirements that Dr. Potteet suggested is reasonable.
Thank you, Ms.
So
McClendon.
thank you for keeping those clubs active, because I too believe that they do mean a lot to the students. So,
Right.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms.
Madam
Drayton?
President, I think it would be very good because this give the kids not just the virtual learning, but also they get to do something they would like to do, the clubs and activities.
I agree. Any further comments, board members?
Yes, Ms. Pitts, this is Ms. Martin. I'd just like to say to Dr. Potteet and his administrative staff, thank you so much for taking that into consideration and for also placing the stipulations upon which they have to complete this. So that's awesome. It'll make our children happy and it will make our parents happy.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Any further comments? I would just like to say that I concur with all the comments that our board members have made, specifically as it relates to the stipulations that Dr. Potteet has placed on, because I feel that one of the most important areas as we go forward has to do with accountability. And I do believe that those stipulations have set up a standard with regards to accountability. So therefore, board members, back to the agenda. I'm still on the personnel report. However, before I call for a motion, I would ask that you go to page 12, number 7, remove the word rescind, I'm sorry. Remove the word rescind and add the phrase with stipulations, so that board members, number 7 on page 12 will read, motion to approve with stipulations the following 2020-2021 middle school club activity advisors as a result of remote learning. And as you can see, it gives the account number. Similarly, page 13, we're going to do the exact same thing. Page 13, letter B. We just did letter A for middle school. Page 13, we're now looking at letter B, which again, we will remove the word rescind, and we will add the phrase with stipulations, so that letter B will read, approve with stipulations the following 2020-2021 high school club activity advisors as a result of remote learning. And as you can see, the account number is there. So, board members, at this time, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the personnel report with the stated changes that begins at the bottom of page 9 and continues through to the top of page 14. Is there a motion?
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Martin.
It's been moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
London,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Board members, moving now to the addendum. I believe we've all received the addendum. We did receive it fairly recently. So if you feel that you need a few minutes to go over it before I ask for a motion, please let me know. If not, I will call for the motion. Okay, hearing no further comments, board members, on the addendum, I'm asking for a motion to approve the Business Administrator Board Secretary's report that begins on page 1 and continues to the bottom of page 2 on our addendum. Is there a motion?
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Martin.
It has been moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. Ms. Thomas, I'm just going to say this, you have a very soft voice, so I'm gonna ask you to speak up just a little louder,
Okay.
okay?
Yes.
Further questions or comments on the addendum item? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Dredden,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Ms. Thomas.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Ms. Peterson? Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Pitts?
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you, Ms. Chico. Now, board members, moving to the superintendent's report that appears on page 3 of our addendum. Is there a motion?
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Ms. Martin.
Moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. Further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Dredden? Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Ms. Pitts?
Yes,
Motion is carried.
thank you. Moving now, board members, to number 3 item on our addendum, personnel report. I'm asking for a motion to approve the personnel report as it appears on our addendum. Is there a motion?
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Martin.
Moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Dredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. Moving now, board members, back to our agenda. At the Open Public Records Act request. Ms. Chico?
Yes, Madam President. There was two open public records requests between August 8th, 2020 and August 21st, 2020. The first one was from James Roberts, Tri-State Office in North Wildwood, New Jersey. He requested a copy of our postage meter lease agreement for the 2019 tax year and any purchase orders or recent invoices as well, and package training software if applicable. We approved of the three items. One did not exist. The second was from Adam Sheridan. He requested all records of bids, purchase orders, RFQs, and any other documents pertaining to HVAC work, maintenance, upgrades, or repairs on the Winslow Township School District from March 2020 until now. That was provided. And that concludes the open requests.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Chico. Board members, at this time, would there be any old business that you would care to discuss at this time or bring up?
Madam President, I don't know if this is appropriate time, but I do know in our last meeting, a parent requested that the district assist with purchasing personal devices for a student. And I wanted to ask Mr. Long if that was something that the district is allowed to do. I was under the impression that districts can't be brokers for parents in purchasing school supplies like textbooks and even laptop devices. So, Mr. Long, I didn't know if that was something we were allowed to do.
So, appreciate the question. Dr. Poteet did reach out to me, and we had a discussion on this particular topic. You know, my partner, Chris Long, was at the last meeting, and I discussed it with him as well. It's problematic in two respects. The first is we're a tax exempt entity. So anything that we purchase, we don't pay taxes, sale taxes. I had a brief discussion with Mrs. Boyle. By purchasing them and then reselling, it could be perceived as though we're circumventing the sales tax requirements. And Mrs. Boyle in particular likes her liberty, and I would advise against that so she could maintain her liberty. In addition, there are licensing obligations that are in the fine print of every computer purchase that make it very difficult relative to assigning those particular licenses. If we purchase those particular items, we are committing to using them, and the licensee would be the Winslow Township Board of Education or the school district. It would be particularly difficult for us to say purchase a Chromebook, whatever, an iPad, and then turn around and not pay taxes, and then turn around at a discount and then market those to our community. I understand there's strength in bulk, but in this situation, unfortunately, the school purchase laws under the Public School Contracts Act do not permit us to engage in that type of behavior, regrettably, but we're not allowed to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Long. I just wanted to be sure, because I didn't want it to come back later on and the impression being that we did not want to support and help our parents secure these types of devices. So thank you for that.
That's a good question. It's just not feasible, unfortunately.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. That is a good question. Any further issues under old business that we would care to discuss at this time? Thank you, board. Moving now to new business. Board members, would there be any new business that we would care to discuss at this time?
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Peterson.
since we've had a lot of success with our meetings at 6 o'clock for the month of July and August, is it possible that we can discuss having for at least the month of September, our meetings at 6? This will allow more time for parents to ask any questions or our stakeholders.
Good question, Ms. Peterson. Any other comments or feelings with regards to Ms. Peterson's statement, board members?
I'm on board with that, 6 o'clock.
Okay,
I
Yes,
think that's a
I
good
am
idea,
also.
Madam President, and if we can even extend it longer than September, that would be great.
okay, well, right now, we simply, we will hold it to September because we really have not gone forward with our meeting dates for October through the end of the year yet, Ms. Mitchell. So we're just going to extend, we're just going to consider Ms. Peterson's request through September, okay?
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
now, Mr. Long, my question to you is, does this require a simple consensus or do I have to take a vote from the board?
It would be a motion from the board to
Okay.
make the meeting start time, Ms. Smith, because Mrs. Boyle would need authorization to publish the change in the meeting time.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Long. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion. Ms. Peterson, I'm going to ask you to state your motion.
Motion is that the board for the month of September to continue with meeting at 6 p.m. to afford our stakeholders opportunity to ask additional questions.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. That's the motion. Is there a second?
Second, Ms. Martin.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. So therefore, moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Martin. Further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Stretton,
Yes.
Ms. Martin,
Yes.
Ms. McClendon,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Shaw. I'm sorry, Mr. Shaw.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Pitts.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Chico. And so that change will be noted in the future postings. Any further new business that anyone would like to discuss at this time? Thank you. Moving along, we're up to informational items. Board members, any informational items that you'd like to share with us in the public at this time?
Yes, Madam President, is this an opportunity for me to give my information items, or did you want to wait until public comment?
No, Dr. Pote, this is informational items. You can give your information.
Okay. Madam President, members of the board and the community, I'm going to give you some dates that we have put in place. I don't want anyone to think that you have to jot these down at this time because this information will appear on the district's website tomorrow morning. Starting tomorrow, Thursday, August the 27th, a mailing will go out to all parents. This information will have the classroom and teacher assignments for all students, and it will also address the technology and all the instructional materials, textbooks, workbooks, when they will be distributed from the schools. So that will be going out tomorrow, August 27th. On Monday, August 31st, there will be orientation videos. School 5, School 6, the middle school, and the high school. There will be introductions to the buildings by the building principals. So that's the third graders, of course, going into fourth grade for schools 5 and 6, sixth graders going into middle school, and the eighth graders who are going into the high school as ninth graders. Those introductory videos will be on our website. Also on Monday, training videos will be posted on the district's website. All right, those training videos will be basic Chromebook overviews for parents and for our students, particularly our younger students at the lower elementary schools. And there will be a training video on connecting the Chromebook to a hotspot. Those videos will be prepared by our supervisors of technology, and they will appear on Monday after 4 o'clock. These videos, of course, will remain on the website, and our parents and students can go to the website at their leisure to get these overviews. And of course, when schools open, the teachers are back. That first week of school for students, there will probably be, again, some additional time, the teachers directly with the students, but these videos will be available starting on Monday. On September 1st through the 4th, the high school technology distribution will begin starting at 8:30 to 3:30. On September the 1st, the 9th grade students and parents may come and pick up their technology at the high school. September the 2nd, 10th grade students and parents. September the 3rd, 11th grade students and parents. And September the 4th will be for our seniors, our 12th graders. These distributions, again, will be at the high school from 8:30 to 3 p.m. On September 3rd and 4th, the middle school will distribute their technology from 9 to 3. So middle school parents and students, again, that information will be provided to you. September 3rd and 4th, schools 1 through 6 will provide their distribution of technology, and that will be from 9 to 2. And as I stated, additional information will be provided to you. Back to school virtual presentations. Our back to school nights that we would normally have in person, they will be virtual this year. On September the 10th, schools 1 through 4 will have their virtual presentations. September the 16th will be the high school virtual back to school presentation. And September the 17th will be the middle school virtual back to school presentation. I would also like to address, I know Mrs. McClendon had asked me about special education, providing some additional information. And if there are additional questions, I'll try to answer them. But as far as special education services and special education students are concerned, I want the parents to know that as required, a certified special education teacher will provide the primary instruction for all classified students. Students who are eligible for related services, such as speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy services, will continue to receive these services via video conferences, supported by paper-based activities. Services will be provided as online in the student's IEP as appropriate. As far as 504 services, students with a current 504 may continue to receive appropriate accommodations as stated in their 504 plan related to instructional resources and additional time to complete assignments. There may be accommodations listed in the plan, such as bathroom breaks, water breaks, and a one-on-one aid. These services will not be the responsibility of the school, of course, but the responsibility of the parent because the student is not in a classroom setting. So those are just some overviews for special education and 504 services. But before I return it over back to you, Madam President, I would like to make a statement. I want the parents in this community to know that we have heard your concerns. We are 11 days away from the first day of school. We will be ready to provide our students with the best possible education through our remote learning services. I ask that we stop looking in the rearview mirror at those things that are behind us and start looking forward to what's ahead. We've tried to answer every question. Now it's time to allow us, the teachers and administrators, to do our jobs. I've asked that you be patient and give the teachers and administrators an opportunity to present to you what we have put in place for your children. I think you will see how far we have come in the past few months. Yes, we are in this together, and I think today is a good time for us to rally around our children and show them that together we can overcome any challenges before us. Madam President, I turn this portion of the board meeting back over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet. Board members, if there's no further informational items, as indicated earlier, we will now return to our public comment portion. But before I open up the public comment portion, let me just say this. To all of the teachers and to the community parents who sent numerous emails to the board thanking us for the vote to go remote, sharing with us. Some were very personal, some were very heart-wrenching. But I just want you, the community, to know that that was gratifying to get that kind of response and feedback from our teachers and our community, because I can only speak for myself personally. It was very encouraging to get those kinds of comments, because it let me know clearly that there are teachers in the community that do realize and understand that we do indeed care about our teachers and our community, and that you understand and accept that we do. So that is before I go into public comment. I simply wanted to make that statement. And board members, before we go into public comment, if you would like to make a statement at this time, please feel free to do so.
Madam President, can I make a comment?
Yes, Mr. Shaw.
I'm gonna agree with everything you said, and I know I've put out a few statements on PAL, and I've heard from countless parents and community members throughout the last month and a half, and I know I may not have gotten back to every single one of you, and I appreciate all the compliments and all the complaints and everything that I've talked to every single one of the parents and community members about, and I appreciate everything that we've all worked with each other to get to this point. And whatever we can do as a board, or myself, I can do to keep helping, just keep letting us know, let me know, and we'll keep marching forward together, because the only way to achieve success for our students and our school district is to keep working together. And as I put out on PAL, strength in community is what's going to get us to move forward. And that's what we need to keep doing. And, I appreciate every single one of you. And I'm just going to keep working harder and harder to make sure your children have the utmost success. And Dr. Poteet, I'm sure you're in agreement with this.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Therefore, at this time, board members are moving us into public comments. The Winslow Township Board of Education highly values the input of citizens in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We also believe in the rights of our citizens to observe board meetings, to ensure that all citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. Yes, its speakers follow these guidelines when making their public comments. The board president or board secretary will recognize those individuals who wish to make comment. And individuals, as you are calling in, please understand that we are all on this technology, and there is a delay with regards to when we dialogue with each other. So I would ask that you just be mindful of that. And our following procedures, as I've stated before, number one, all members of the public joining into our meeting must treat each other and the board with respect. Number two, when you do call in, kindly state your full name and address. Number three, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. Number four, if you have other questions, please submit those questions to the board with your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable amount of time. And number five, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, any board member, any other testifier, or other members of the public. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to open our board to public comment.
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Martin.
Moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We are now in public
Aye.
comment. Ms. Chico?
Yes, there are people online. Hold one moment, please. Hello and good evening. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the public comment section of your board meeting, Please state your name and address, and if you could lower your device behind you.
Okay, sure. Is that better?
Yes, it is. You may proceed.
Okay.
Your name and address, please.
My name is Tiffany Temple, and my address is 195 Orlando Drive.
You may proceed.
Okay, so I have a question, and I have in regards to the prom for seniors and graduation for seniors. Has there been a decision made regarding if you are going to have a graduation? Is this something that has already been discussed? What recourse does parents have if the board has voted already not to have one? That is my question. And my comment is this. In terms of the kids going 100% online due to the issues with the ventilation, I feel like, we are all going through a lot. This is a pandemic that we're going through right now. I feel like these problems with the ventilation system should have already been addressed and resolved. Winslow is extremely ill prepared in this regard. Leadership starts from the top, and clearly Winslow is failing. I received mail go online and say and advise on how to like your child to instruct. I took my time on the website. I filled out all the documents and everything required, only to be blindsided by the news media saying Winslow Township is 100% online. So I thought that was a waste of my time for me to go on the website. And Winslow clearly knew they were ill prepared and had no intention of offering blended instruction. Okay, so we need to come to some sort of an understanding in terms of giving parents information with the school and what are you guys doing to resolve and rectify the issue. So right now you're saying January. Okay, so what guidelines are you putting to ensure that this occurs? This is quite embarrassing, for the township. I have 4 students who have come out of the Winslow School District. 3 graduated, and I have 1 who will be senior this year. Other districts have had graduations and things of that sort, and Winslow has not. So I just don't understand why is Winslow failing in this regard, and what are we doing to resolve the issue to make this better?
Good evening. This is Dr. Poteet. I can address your concerns. Graduation has not been planned at this point because it's a little too early for us to plan. However, we have discussed it, and I think with the governor's executive order, if it still remains in place where no more than 25 people can meet indoors, and or the social distancing guidelines for outdoors, those are things we would have to take in consideration if they're still in place. So graduation, we still have some time to plan graduation. Prom for the seniors has already been planned. They have already reserved their location. So that's in place. And at this point, again, the governor's executive order will determine whether or not we can move forward with having an indoor prom. So at this point, those things have been planned. However, as far as the ventilation system and speaking as to whether or not we have failed the district and the things that we have not done. So why don't I say this? The ventilation system may not be 100% or up to the par, but maybe it's because we have spent a lot of money doing many upgrades at all of our schools. Let's start with the HVAC units at schools 1, 2, 3, and 4, replacing boilers at schools 5 and 6, new hot water pumps, hot water tanks, air handlers, those kinds of things at schools 5 and 6, replacing the rooftop units at the middle school, replacing vents at the middle school, replacing windows at the high school and at the middle school. Maybe it's because we had to put new roofs on school 5, 6, the middle school and the high school, new lighting fixtures in all of the schools, new floor tiles and carpets in all of our schools in the hallways, new electrical upgrades to all the schools, window replacements, new entrance renovations at schools 1, 2, 3, 4 in the high school, gym floor replacements at all the schools, new ceiling tiles in the hallways, blacktops and refurbishing of parking lots, painting all the classrooms in the entire district and the hallways, new cafeteria floors in 4 of our schools, installed security cameras inside and outside in all of our schools. All our grounds have been upgraded, placed new PA systems in all of the schools, installed new window shades in all the schools, installed automatic flushes in all of our bathrooms, upgraded all the bathrooms in all the schools, installed new canopies over our playgrounds, preschool playgrounds in schools 1 through 4, exterior lights around all of our schools and our parking lots, replaced all the clocks and the burglar alarm system throughout the district, purchased new cafeteria equipment for all the schools, upgraded security systems at all the schools, new gymnasium and an extension of classrooms at school 4 with the new extension, replaced unit ventilators in school 3, courtyard refurbishments at school 2 because we had problems there. Installation of split air units in classrooms at the high school, the high school reflooring replacement, new safety vestibules in all the schools, front facade at the high school gymnasium, and putting a new renovated auditorium at the high school, and a new extension to the high school for classrooms to enhance our science project, our science classes at the high school. So if you want to talk about the curriculum, we've spent millions of dollars in upgrading all of our curriculum areas, new textbooks all over the entire school district, K to 12, new technology throughout the school district, refurbished the entire infrastructure throughout the entire school district, purchasing of Chromebooks and other technology throughout the school district. So the question is, and I can go on and on and on as to where we've been spending our money, particularly when we're talking about now putting a new greenhouse outside of the middle school to enhance our STEM programs. We're doing the parking lot upgrades at School 3 because of the water damage, extending the parking lot at School 2 because we don't have enough parking for our parents, new curbing at School 6, demolishing the modular units that's 25 plus years old at the middle school to enhance our curriculum offices. So, it sounds almost like Pharaoh telling Moses, we want the brick count to stay the same, but you don't get any straw. So here's the thing. We had an opportunity to do the upgrades here in Winslow Township, but it was voted down with the referendum. We also had an opportunity years after that to increase taxes. It was voted down. So at this point, we have done all the things I've mentioned, plus more, without any increase in taxes beyond the 2%, very little state aid. And at this point, we're doing things based on our operating budget. So to say that the school district was ill-prepared, that the leadership failed itself, then I'm saying provide us with some additional money so we can get the things done. But on the other hand, all the things we have done in this school district from year to year based on the operating budget, we can't do anymore. Now, before the coronavirus, which is a deadly disease, was the ventilation system adequate? Absolutely. But with the virus, which is a deadly disease, which is airborne, the question is, do the system work to the capacity of its manufacturing requirements so that we can assure that the parents, the students, and the teachers in this district are safe? I'm saying to you, rather than guess, I am saying to you, as well as the other members of this community, I have erred on the side of caution and safety, and rather than put the staff and students in an environment with the potential of it not being safe, I'm not going to make that recommendation. So that's why we're here. And going full remote was never an option available to us until 2 weeks ago. So at this point, I just say to you and members of the community, we've done everything we could with the taxpayer dollars, and I think we've been a good custodian of those dollars, and we've done everything we possibly could to upgrade this entire school district.
Thank you, Dr. Poteet.
Well, your points are definitely well taken, and I appreciate you taking the time to respond. In terms of tax dollars, you're right. I do pay about tax dollars in excess of 10,000. So I don't need to pay any additional taxes. I feel like I'm more than my share. Okay. But I appreciate safety is important. Okay. I'm fully aware of what COVID-19, is. So I understand safety. I would not want to jeopardize the safety of my child as well as any other child or any. So I get that. But what my point primarily was is we kind of learned about this COVID in the beginning of March. And at that point, I feel like perhaps we should have taken steps to perhaps upgrade the ventilation system. I know what you said. You guys did a lot of improvements to School 3, School 4, and the middle school, and updating the vestibule. And I'll be honest, I do like the fact that you have better security system when you're coming into the school, because like I stated, I have a high school here and I'm there, I've been to school quite often. I've even attended a couple of board meetings.
Okay, excuse me, I'm going to have to interrupt at this time, because I do realize that Dr. Poteet did take an additional minutes the time to answer your questions, caller. However, you have gone over specifically your 4 minutes. And so, in consideration for others who are on the line, I'm going to ask that if you have additional statements, conversation that you would like to have with Dr. Poteet, if you would call him, but at this time, we have to move on. So, Ms. Chico, who is next?
Bye-bye. Okay, we have another caller. Hello and good evening. Welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and continue with your comment.
Hi, Deanna Shihagi, 7 Belmont Court, Bickleville. Good evening, board. I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing these clubs to happen. As a senior at the high school, I was devastated to hear that these clubs were being canceled. Coming from you guys, allowing them to happen, I was filled with joy. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.
We have another caller.
Caller can help.
Good evening. Welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and continue with your comment.
Hi, I'm Christine Berneski, and I live at 502 Landing Road.
You can continue.
So I would like to thank all the board members tonight allowing clubs and activities to continue for the 2020-2021 school year. I am personally a senior at Winslow and have had multiple conversations with other classmates, not only as seniors, but all the way down to freshmen and middle schoolers, to appreciate the decision to be in clubs and activities this year. I did start a petition to have sessions in Winslow Township this school year. I started it less than 24 hours ago, and I'm thankful to say that I had 505 supporters, and that with that support and the support of the board, it means a lot to have extracurricular.
Okay, thank you very much.
Madam President.
Yes, Ms. McClendon?
I'm not sure if I'm the only person that's hearing this, but it's very hard to hear the callers and understand what they're saying. There's a lot of feedback in the background. I don't know if it's a volume that needs to be adjusted to so it's not screeching, but I can't understand or hear what callers are saying.
I agree, Ms. McClendon. I was just about to make that comment myself. Ms. Chico, is it something that's happening in our system, or is it that our callers are not muting, reducing their background? Because Ms. McClendon is absolutely correct.
I will adjust my speakers to see the background. I have the callers as high as they can go next to my computer. So if I can adjust this, maybe that'll work. I do not see anything else, and I'm not shuffling papers either. I'm trying to be as quiet as I can. So I will try this, and if it doesn't work, just let me know.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chico. Thank you.
We do have another caller.
Okay.
Chico, do you recall what the young lady just said? I know she said she was a high school senior, but do you recall what she was saying?
Yeah, so she mentioned that she was a high school senior and that she appreciated the fact that we did approve the club activity and advisors tonight. She did start a petition within the last 48 hours or 24 hours, sorry, to get the club and activities back in the high school and the middle school, and she said she already had 500 signatures. So with that being said, that's what she stated, and she just wanted to thank the board and everybody who approved it.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to answer the next call. If you cannot hear, just let me know. Hello and good evening. Welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
Hi, my name is Erica Wallace, 12 Lyric Court. My question is specifically for the specifically for the lower grade level of children. I have a child who's going to be attending pre-K. It was determined that she is in need of IEP. Now, I understand that what the distance learning looks like for the older children. I have an older son who's at school 5. But with regard to pre-K, how does the distance learning work for them where they don't necessarily have the ability to sit in front of a screen and pay attention for an extended period of time?
Yes, this is Dr. Poteet. You will be receiving a mailing this week introducing yourself to your child's teacher and other information. And I think once we get that information to you and we are able to connect with you, the building principals and the teachers will make all that clear to you. And as soon as you get that information, you'll have an opportunity to reach out, or they'll be reaching out to you. But it'll take care of itself. You'll get all the information you need in order for us to move forward. All right. But we do not, I just want to emphasize, we do not expect the little people, as you mentioned, to sit in front of a computer all day. There will, of course, be some hands-on activities that they would have to do, some packets and things of that sort, because there are some skills that they have to learn that you can't teach over a computer. So it'll all take place, and we'll be fine. So as soon as you start getting the information from the building principals, you know who your teachers are, we'll make that contact with you, and we'll make sure everything is clear to you, okay? Caller?
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I think it's just a matter of waiting for the documents that you said should be coming out in the next few weeks or so. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Starting tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another caller. Good evening and welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name, address, and proceed with your comment.
This is David Monahan, 41 Orlando Drive. Calling you this evening because I'm sorry, go ahead.
I didn't say anything. You can go forward. Sorry.
Okay. We were curious as to the instruction from the teachers this year. We were wondering if the teachers were going to be doing video instruction with the students this year, instead of just posting something on Google Classroom and having the students do it and submit it. That's my main question for tonight.
Yes. Well, there's going to be a combination of activities and approaches to the young people. We are going to have a lot more video contact with the teachers and the students this year. As I stated earlier in my comments, I just want the parents to, and I know there's a lot of anxiety out there, and I understand that, and people know we're getting closer to the opening of schools. Once you start receiving that information starting the end of this week into next week, things will really start, a lot of your personal questions will be answered, and the teachers and the building administrators will be working directly with the parents. So all of your answers will be, all your questions will be answered. And I can assure you that there's going to be a lot more contact with the students this year. All right?
I appreciate that. That's what we want to hear. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Another caller. Good evening and welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
Hello.
Yes, please state your name and address and proceed with your comment.
Sure. My name is Christy Renzulli. Address is 5 Concord Boulevard, Sicklerville.
You can proceed.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and thank you, board, and thank you, Dr. Poteet. As you know, I was a huge proponent for extending our clubs and activities because of the social learning atmosphere that it gives to our students. I'm wondering if someone can explain to us, I think what I'm missing in all of that is why the rescinding of the stipends was on the agenda in the first place, like what the
how we had gotten to that point. I'm so happy that we got to the point where we are today. I think we're just confused as to what the process was for that
Sure,
on the agenda
sure.
to begin with.
Sure, Ms. Rizzulli, I can answer that. If you look at quite a few of those clubs, you have to ask yourself, how are we going to do them? For example, and I'll just take a few, for example. The drama director or the co-stage manager, how are they going to do that virtually? We do have some of those that are just, and as long as I am certain that we are going to make sure that things are going to happen, because the initial question was, how are you going to do this virtually? And at this point, for example, I think the freshman advisor, you don't have the freshman class there, so you haven't had the vote yet. So you don't have your leadership in place. So how do you have a freshman advisor? I mean, there was just a few, but at this point, I want to assure you, as long as we are able to make sure that these individuals, through their creativity, are going to prove to us that in spite of my doubts about certain of these situations, that they can in fact function through a virtual format, then fine. That's pretty much where we are. The question is, how can you do it virtually? And maybe they're going to prove to me and to the parents and everyone that there is a way to do some of these things virtually. And that's pretty much it. And as long as we can establish the fact that these things are going to happen, these activities are going to take place, then fine. I don't have a problem with it. The building principals didn't have a problem with it. But again, we just didn't want to put something out there just for the sake of it and not have the stipulations or the accountability in place to make sure it does happen. One of the things I remember vividly from last year, that the parents were concerned about accountability. We want to make sure we're holding people accountable and making sure that these things are going to happen, whether it's academics, whether it's athletics, whether it's going to be extracurricular. As long as they prove to us that these things can take place effectively and that the young people are in fact getting something out of it, then I'm okay. I'm okay. But you can go down the list, and I'm quite sure, not only myself, but I'm quite sure there's some people out there who may look at this list and ask yourself, how can they do these activities virtually? But that's all. That's it. And again, it was not a situation where we arbitrarily just said, well, we'll go with it. No. After some discussion with the principals, and of course, I know this is important to our young people, and it's never our intent to hurt our students. That's why we're here. So there it is. And that's the best response I can give you at this time. But here again, rather than revert back to why, I think we should be, of course, celebrating why we did move forward with it. And again, it's in place. The young people will have their activities. I just want to make sure through the building administrators that we are, in fact, providing the service for these students.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate that. And having worked with some of the advisors and having our daughter be a participant in many of them, I have every confidence in our advisors and our teachers that do that they can be creative and that we can make this successful. So I really look forward to that this year. So thanks.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's see. Good evening and welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and continue with your comment.
Hello, my name is Heather Ackerman. My address is 126 Fenway Avenue, Atco, New Jersey. I was just calling to follow up with a question I had stated previously from a meeting regarding supplemental programs that the district was looking into to help address any learning gaps that have occurred due to the virtual learning. Is there any updated information pertaining to these programs that will self-adjust and differentiate the instruction for our students? I know the curriculum person had stated before that they had put out quotes, they're looking at getting quotes. Is there any updated information with that? And my second question is for the board to consider, we're as a district getting a lot more participation with our community members. Having these meetings virtually is allowing people who have not had accessibility to these due to working or schedules or conflicts with daycare or children, watching their kids. Can the board consider after this COVID having this accessibility to these members to increase participation for our district and parents?
Okay.
Excuse me, Dr. Poteet, could I just, before you answer, could I just step in and
Sure.
answer the latter part of the caller's question?
Yes.
With regards to the board considering going forward after COVID leaves us, and I'm sure it will, with regards to continuing in this particular way of having our meetings, it would be a consideration, but the board also has to consider the fact that when we have our in-person meetings, if you recall, that gave each of the classes throughout all of our 8 buildings an opportunity to come before the board and give the board some indication of the kinds of educational and athletic and artful things that our students are doing. In addition to that, caller, the board also has to sit very often and do hearings with regards to very critical situations as it pertains to many students. And when we have our hearings, it is just that. We do call in witnesses, we do call in parents, and so that would definitely have to be in person. So to answer your question, it's a consideration that the board going forward will have to discuss and make a decision. And the public will know exactly whether or not we will continue after COVID in this particular way of communicating. Hello, are you still there?
So I don't mean I just wanted to clarify quickly. I didn't mean as in a total replacement. In this day and age with the technology that is available, I work for another district and I know other people that work for districts and they have this accessibility. So I totally absolutely understand you have to have that in-person possibly, aspect of it, but you can also have the virtual in conjunction with it. Because I've been to plenty of board meetings in person. And one of the complaints that was stated by Dr. Poteet and the board is that members of this community do not come out to the meetings and do not participate. So as part of the district goals that you state is to have inclusivity. So if you're going to offer that, then you are giving yourself and the district the opportunity to have more involvement for those who cannot but want to be involved.
Mrs. Pitts?
Okay, Mr. Shaw?
She's talking about she's talking about live streaming our meetings, which a lot of school boards across the state are starting to do now.
It's a consideration.
Yeah.
I can say to you, Mr. Shaw, and to the caller, that it is a consideration.
All right, that's all for consideration because it will definitely help this district go into the direction that we're trying to get to.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dr. Poteet, you can answer.
Yes, I'm going to refer that question, the curriculum question, to Dr. Carcamo. Dr. Carcamo, are you available?
I am, Dr. Poteet.
Okay.
I do recall the caller asking if we were looking at additional resources, and I responded that we were, and that there was an RFP that was posted. She wanted to know when a decision would be made, and I answered that as soon as an RFP had been awarded. I believe that there's still, and Ms. Chico, you can correct me if I'm not correct, but there are several RFPs that are being posted to support reading, language arts, and math. Nothing has been awarded yet.
Dr. Carcamo, that is correct. We are in the process of getting those those bids together to be posted soon with the help of Ms. Boyle and Miss Lonnie.
Right, so they're still in the process. So is any estimation of or guesstimation of when that might occur? Of when we would get some information? Because I know we have like IXL and some other stuff, but those programs don't self-adjust and self-differentiate based on the child's responses to help differentiate the instruction for lower, middle, and upper young students.
Well, I think the programs that we currently have in place are sufficient. And it is the decision of the curriculum committee to decide which programs we feel are appropriate. And that's why we're moving with the programs, moving forward with the ones that we have an RFP for. And I know that other districts use various programs, but we have decided on the programs that we feel most appropriate.
And what data is that based off of? Is that based off your park scores? Is that based off of each individual score as a district? Or is that just based on the committee personnel information and bids?
So I didn't hear the beginning of your statement.
What analytical data is that based off of your decision? Is it based
So
off?
we have a curriculum committee department that consists of a math supervisor, language arts director, language arts supervisor. We have a special education supervisor. We have committee members, department chair members, and all of those people participate in making a decision and examining the resources that we choose to select.
Okay, so that still didn't answer my question. What analytical data do you use to inform that decision?
So of course, we look at the data based on the resources that we're looking at. We do our research to find out exactly how successful those programs have been. We look at our student data in terms of what we are using, starting point, ending points, to determine whether or not the programs that we have are sufficient. And if not, then we look to research other programs that we feel are appropriate. We also communicate with other districts as well to find out what programs that they are using that we may be able to benefit from as well.
So the information you're using is the data. So are you using pre and post tests and benchmarks? And are you using analytical data of a certain percentage gain to show the effectiveness of that program?
We have always used benchmark data. We've always been required to do so by the State Department. There's no way that you can determine student growth without having some data to analyze. And we have always done that.
All right, fantastic. So that's just all I wanted to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Parkmo.
Right now, we do not have any callers. I'm sorry, another caller came in. Good evening and welcome to the public comment section of the board meeting. Please state your name and address and continue with your comment.
My name is Cynthia Moore. I live at 60 Stone Hollow Drive. I was hoping to get this comment in before you voted on the revised policies. I noticed that under the uniform policy, there's a change to the gym clothing. And I know last year we went through a whole bunch of run around about the colors and all, and navy blue was added for gym. It's not in there now. And I'm wondering if it's because this wasn't the most updated version of the policy that was used. Because I never actually saw that in writing in one of the handbooks. So, as I said, I was hoping to make that comment before you voted on it, and I'm not sure if it'll be changed. And I know it's probably a moot point at this time because the students won't be in school, but I'm not sure how hard it is for you to go back and change that after the fact. Also, for the mask, it just states about mandatory mask wearing, but you didn't state that solid colors would be needed. So I wanted to make those comments. I'm not sure if you can make that change, but I do think if you can do it now rather than later, it'll be a lot easier. Hello?
Yes, well, I will have to defer to the policy committee on that, but I do want to state that I don't recall us having an issue with gym clothing this past school year or the year before that. I think we made some adjustments early in that process because we've been in the uniform wearing for quite some time now, but gym clothing has not been an issue at any of our schools at this point, particularly last year, year before.
I'm sorry, but it has been an issue. And Mrs. Pitts, I'm sure knows what I'm talking about because she was in a meeting with me and others about it. And we had added, or you had added, navy blue as an option for gym clothing. It is not stated in this policy.
Dr. Poteet.
Yeah, but I
Excuse
do
me, Dr.
recall. Yes, Mrs. Pitts, I do recall that conversation, but that wasn't a conversation we had recently.
Yeah, but I'm saying what was the reason then for it being dropped? Because it had been revised, it had been agreed on that it was an option, and now it's not there.
Ms. Moore, Dr. Poteet, may I just address Ms. Moore?
Sure.
Ms. Moore, with regards to your comments, are you stating that there is something that's on the agenda tonight?
Yes.
Could you tell me what
policy revisions? Where you have the second reading.
Right.
Okay. One part of that is I'm assuming that the reason why that is changed at all is because of the mask being added. But because I read the whole thing, I noticed that navy blue was not on there as an option for gym clothing. And I was also adding that, and that's why I said I wonder if the policy that was changed was not the most updated one.
Ms. Moore, here's what you should know. With regards to any issues around the uniform dress code policy, you are correct. I do recall last year that the navy blue, after several rounds of discussion, was added. And also with regards to the mask, bringing it forward to now in the time of COVID, if indeed those two items are not in our dress code policy, you can be guaranteed that and as you said, that is a minor issue, but when our policy committee does have our next meeting, that is an easy fix. Believe me, that's an easy fix. But thank you for bringing that to our attention.
All right, thank you.
Right now, there's no callers coming through.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Chico. So therefore, board members at this time, I'm asking.
Mrs. Pitts, I have a couple parents that asked me to ask questions for them.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Shaw.
So I have one parent that asked me about book pickups at the high school. They can't get there during the day because both parents work during the day. So they asked me about any options for night pickups.
Mr. Shaw, all they have to do is call the building principal, Mr. Morella, and see if they can work that out with the building principal.
Okay, that's what I told him, but I wanted to just double check. I told him I would ask tonight anyway.
Okay.
And even though Dr. Poteet, you and I had discussed this already, I had one parent ask me about Microsoft Teams because their suggestion was for the district to look at it because the teacher can share the screen with the students. So they want to know if that's an option that we can take a look at for the district to use that.
I will refer that back to the curriculum committee through Dr. Carcamo because, those are not decisions that I or Dr. Carcamo make independently. We do what we feel, as mentioned earlier, that meets the needs of our students. So I will, and I'm quite sure Dr. Carcamo hears what I'm saying. I will refer that to her for them to take under consideration, Mr. Shaw.
Any further questions, Mr. Shaw? Mr. Shaw? Hello, Mr. Shaw?
Yeah, my earbuds went dead.
Excuse me, Ms. Pitts, may I respond briefly to Mr. Shaw? Mr.
Yes,
Shaw,
Dr.
with
Carcamo.
using Google Meet, the teachers already have the capability of sharing their the screen.
Right.
So we already have those resources in place.
Right. I'm just asking the questions that I've been asked to ask. So.
Okay. Thank you,
And then Dr. Poteet, I'm just gonna email over a list of questions I have from an email over to you, with a bunch more questions. I'll email it over to you after the meeting.
Oh, you can handle it, Mr. Shaw.
Some of them are repetitive that we talked about last night.
Okay.
So I think this parent will, probably get
Okay.
better overall response from you emailing them back.
Okay, you can send it
It's
to
a whole
Mr.
list of
Shaw.
questions.
Okay.
Right. Thank you,
Mr. Shaw. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion. Yes,
Madam
Mr.
President?
Yes.
I want to go back to the caller, Ms. Moore, when she talked about the uniform policy with the update, which, you already addressed it and said she was absolutely correct. But she mentioned something about the mask, and then she was looking for specifics as far as should it be solid colors. I know in our last policy committee meeting, that was something that we did touch on. We kind of went back and forth on it. However, we did put that to the side for more conversation about that probably in our next meeting. So maybe that's something that we need to touch back on, because it did come up as a topic for us, but we decided to table it for a minute and come back to it. So maybe in our next meeting, we can touch back on that.
I totally agree, Ms. McClendon, and you're absolutely right. Okay? Board members, I'm asking for a motion to adjourn public comments. Is there a motion?
Motion by Thomas.
Second by Martin.
It's been moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion approved. At this time, board members, I'm asking for a motion to adjourn the meeting because there is no executive session. Correct, Mr. Long? There is no executive session.
No executive session this evening.
Thank you. Therefore, I'm asking board members for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion by Thomas.
Second, Martin.
Moved by Ms. Thomas, second by Ms. Martin. Thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Aye.